Who would have thought the University of Virginia would have been doing this well in the transfer portal and recruiting?
You are Locked On Virginia, your daily podcast on the Virginia Cavaliers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, everybody. How you doing there, viewers and listeners? This is Big Law, Locked On Virginia. Good day, viewers and listeners. Welcome to Locked On Virginia Cavaliers podcast, your first place to come to get your Wahoo fix every day as part of the Locked On Podcast Network. The date is 12/20/2022, and yes, I'm hitting you with a late night or later evening edition of this episode because there's been so much news happening around the University of Virginia football program. And might I say, it's very, very positive. I also have some really good news of what I'm going to do about all this positive news. I can't tell you the positive news until tomorrow because I will be tag teaming with one of the foremost top reporters when it comes to recruiting. And that will be Draki Franchuli for Scout.com and also for 247 Wahoo Sports. She'll be here tomorrow, and we'll do a show for you guys, giving you guys the lowdown on what's been happening. But huge news, and I can't even tell you everything that's going on because there's so much, and there's been so many guys that actually young men who have committed to the University of Virginia or on the way, for what I understand. This will also serve as, like I said, this is a Tuesday show, but this will also serve as a pregame review for the game tonight for University of Virginia Cavaliers going up against those dreaded Miami Hurricanes tonight. So I'll give you guys some ideas on that as well and who to look out for because they're down there in Miami getting ready to suit up and getting ready to play. So, as I was saying before, the transfer portal has been a sore, to the, sore, or pain in the side to the University of Virginia football program. And let's just kind of call it like it is. I think that, for good reason, on the part of the actual players, they want to leave. They wanted to leave. There's players that want to get out. And we can't hold them any kind of way responsible or be upset with them because they want to leave based off of what happened. Of course, some players and some teams just lose players just based off of having a horrible year on the gridiron. And I understand that. But based off of that, when you compound that with the ultimate terrible tragedy that happened, with the team, I could totally understand why, some of these young men want to go start over and, continue their college career elsewhere. But just totally surprising. I don't care who you are. No one could see what is coming down the pipe right now is coming. I mean, I see probably one of the first Clemson players to follow Coach Elliott over. There's someone from Clemson coming over who's committed. There's also a 4-star who stayed committed. You could probably guess that. There's just there's some other some highly ranked 3-stars who were also top targets of other Power 5 teams, which that was a gripe from a lot of fans that yes, UVA may be getting a lot of players, 3-stars or whatever, but they're not Power 5 recruits. And if you're going against non-Power 5 or you're recruiting non-Power 5 players, you're setting yourself up to be competing or to be that kind of a talent level as opposed to getting the high-end 5-star kids. But I think that there's something definitely coming down the pipe for this team. And it's just the beginning. Remember, this is the first signing day which is tomorrow, Wednesday, which is why I have to get this episode out to you first, okay? Just to set up what's going to happen tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be very special and surprising for all of us fans based off of what I'm hearing and what I'm seeing behind the scenes here. The most exciting part, of course, is you actually have some buzz. You have some players who want to come and help rebuild the program. I can tell you one thing about Coach Elliott and his staff that's there. They know how to do the recruiting. And I understand a lot of the guys aren't like the 4 and 5 star caliber that you want. But based off of who they are and where they are right now, they get some players that they want. And the thing about it is every story is almost the same. You know, a lot of the guys say, we felt at home. We really, loved it there. The coaches just made us comfortable. That's and maybe that's because those are the kids that that the team targeted earlier on, and they continued. Now, I'm not saying that that the other the previous regime didn't make kids feel that well, but obviously we absolutely know that in order to win the Commonwealth, you need to recruit in Virginia. You need to win home. You need to win here. Liberty's on right now. Another school that's been doing well. Liberty, JMU, Virginia Tech, William and Mary, all these schools, the Norfolk States, Virginia State, still can't forget about the HBCUs, Hamptons. Those schools are still doing well, getting some of these 757, some of these players from all over the state. Virginia just needs to take it up another notch if they're going to win this state. ODU as well. Cannot leave out ODU. But these are things that have to happen in order for any college to claim the Commonwealth Championship. So with that being said, let's see what the transfer portal holds and the recruiting trail holds for this team. But from what I understand, there is definitely a lot of energy. There's a lot of buzz. There's a lot of guys making commitments right now, and they're just waiting to sign their letter of intent. I'm wondering what Coach Elliott is doing. How are they finding this magic elixir after a tragedy? I need to know how they are recovering. I don't know how they're doing it. And this is going to be a huge story to talk about after a tragedy, after a bad year. Okay, that obviously there was a lot of turmoil going on. There's a lot of back and forth. A lot of things were not jiving, with the offensive side of the ball to where they are right now, where kids are coming from all over the place, and some of them may not be your 4 or 5 star caliber. A lot of them are high 3 caliber, and that's something that I did not expect. I expect for a lot of kids to almost that could come to the school that are recruits turn away because they didn't want to step into what the negative could be for this team going forward. But it seems like there's a lot of young men out there who want to change the narrative about Virginia football, and I'm thoroughly surprised, and I'm excited to see what my girl Jackie Franchuli from 247 Wahoo and Scout.com to see what she has to offer tomorrow. And you should too. Make sure you go and check her out on her on her website and also on some of her other social medias. Follow her on Twitter. She's a great follow on Twitter as well. These days, every new potential hire can feel like a high-stakes wager for small business. You want to be 100% certain that you have access to the best qualified candidates available. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs helps find the right people for your team faster and for free. You create your profile and you put in the purple hashtag I'm hiring, hashtag hiring on your profile frame in your LinkedIn profile to spread the word that you are hiring. Simple tools like screening questions make it easy to focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience so you can quickly prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn jobs number one in developing quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. That's linkedin.com/lockedoncollege to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. But as you can tell, I'm jacked up right now about the recruiting for this, for this cycle. I was really, really worried about what to expect from this, from this term, of the recruiting cycle. But it seems like there's some guys coming to the rescue. I said there had to be something big happen. There had to be something kind of big because it was looking to me, it was looking very, very dismal. My question, I even talked to my guy Ballhawk on my show last week, my Seven City show, and I asked him, I said, will we be able to field a proper team? And he laughed at me. And I said, will we be able to field a proper team come the spring game? And he had to think about it, but he did laugh. And he said, I don't know, probably. But, I'm just looking at it based off of the young men that we lost and some that we are still potentially losing. I don't know if any of the players that are in the transfer portal at Virginia have made any decisions outside of outside of the long snapper who was in the portal for University of Virginia coming back. But I'm not sure if anyone else has made any decisions to play somewhere else. And I will be interested to see what Fentrell Cypress, who quite frankly is the highest profile player in the transfer portal from the University of Virginia, then and believe it or not, is higher than Brennan Armstrong. And yes, Brennan Armstrong still is looking for a home, but I know that he does have some buzz on where he might where he might wind up going. So good for Brennan, and we'll see what happens with Brennan and where he lands. But there are some players coming, but I will give you this nugget. Also, Antonio Clary is coming back, a safety defensive back for the University of Virginia who had a pretty good year. Looks like he has made the decision to come back, and utilize the extra year that has been given him by the NCAA. And I'm looking forward to seeing him come back because the defensive backfield is pretty much decimated. When you lose Anthony Johnson, ACC first team, all ACC, Fentrell Cypress, all ACC second team, who led the league in pass breakups. Anthony Johnson, first team ACC, was second in the league in pass breakups. You lose your two top corners, you're going to need some help. Also, you had Chase Chalmers, another safety hybrid kind of a player, also leave. So, and I'm not sure about Darius Bratton. You're losing him as well. Another tenured defensive back who is who's also possibly not coming back. So, let's see how this all shakes out. Everybody got an exciting show for tomorrow. Make sure you tune in. It's gonna be awesome. Jackie's gonna lay it down. Okay, she's gonna tell you who's coming, who's going. She's gonna also tell you maybe some tidbits of information you didn't know about recruiting. This is when you build your team. This is almost just like draft day, for a professional team. You know how excited you get, when you have a team that is on the clock and you could possibly change the whole landscape of your team based off of a few players. This is where it begins for the University of Virginia. We've been looking for a ray of light, because of all the things that have happened. You always look for something positive. You're looking for a ray of light. And the football program has needed a ray of light for quite some time now, since November. And now we may have a ray of light and some good energy coming back into the program. And I got to give a shout out to the coaches, and the staff for what they're doing. Because I didn't think they had the energy to turn it around, this quick, or to get young men to recruit, some of these recruits to commit. I thought it would be like an elongated process. I would think that some players are going to hold out, and maybe end up at Virginia and not like make their decision on uh, on on signing day. So this is great news, and you guys and all of us fans, we should be happy about this. Thank you for making Locked On Virginia your first listen today. Make sure you check out Locked On Sports Today, the biggest sports stories around the sports world in 20 minutes or less. Plus, instant reactions, game recaps, Locked On's take of the day. Locked On Sports Today, available on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. So yeah, everyone, let's make sure we tune in tomorrow as well. Now let's jump into the basketball preview. Of course, big game tonight. This is going to go a long way, everyone. We just had a devastating, not quite devastating, but it was a big letdown of a loss to Houston, the number 5 team in the nation then, and now they're up to number 2. Excuse me, they're up to number 2, I believe, and UVA is at number 6. So with that loss, we really kind of found a lot out about our team and about ourselves and what we could possibly be and what we need to improve. And there's a few places, when you're playing an elite team like Houston, potential Elite 8 Final Four kind of a team, there's some things that we definitely need to button up. We need to button up our outside shooting right now. We need to button up our turnovers. We need to do that right now. But we have Miami tonight, 8:30 tip-off. Miami 11-1, and they are number 22 in the college poll right now. And of course, UVA 8-1 is number 6. And I tell you what, they have 4 guys in double figures. Isaiah Wong, who has been the star for this team, averaging 16.7 points a game. You got Jordan Miller, another guard, averaging 15.1. You got Norshad Miller, averaging 13.8, and another guard, Nigel Pack, averaging 11.3. So they got some guys averaging some really good points. Our leading scorer is Jaden Gardner at 11.8. And then Kihei at 11.3. Then, of course, Amar Franklin at 10.9. Those are double-digit scores. We don't have a ton of guys putting up a ton of points. But our scoring is very spread out as well. You think about, Bennett Vander Plas, who had a terrible game last week. I'm looking very forward to him breaking out, and riding the ship. What kind of year he had. Then, of course, you got Caden Cedric, who is also in his own right having a huge breakout year. Then you think about we got Jaden Gardner, Reese Beekman as well. Reese, who is, quite frankly, when he's healthy, he's the best player on the team because he plays both sides of the ball. He's elite defender, plus defender, can shut you down, shut down your best perimeter defender, and also your best one-on-one going to the basket player. It might be your best passing guard as well, and he is. I'm gonna call him the best passing guard on the team. So when you lose those things, or he is severely hampered by an injury, we're looking at a tighter game than usual. He did good, on the defensive end by shutting down Sasser when he was on him, but we were slow in our rotations, and that's something that we're going to have to correct quickly against this Miami team. Very athletic, very quick, has some guards who can really fill it up, put it in the bucket, and we're going to have to change up some of the things that hurt us, during the Houston game, which was the slow closeout. Some fractures is what they called it. But there were some. I think there were some slow closeouts, just in my opinion. They were getting some shots, and I think we should have aggressively closed out a little bit better. I know we don't want to foul them, but in order to get that shooting percentage down from the 3, we need to have some more aggressive closeouts. Did you know that driving high is considered driving under the influence? That's right. Driving under the influence of marijuana is against the law in every state. even in states where marijuana is legal. That means driving high could get you a DUI. And if you think law enforcement officers can't tell if you're driving high, you're wrong. Your friends can tell, your coworkers can tell, even your parents can tell. Everyone can tell. So what makes you think that law enforcement officers don't know when you're driving high? Driving under the influence of marijuana can slow your response time and change how you perceive time and speed. So even if you think you're fine to drive when you're high, you're not. Because the bottom line is if you feel different, you drive different. And driving high during and driving under the influence is another thing that we all should be aware of. So remember, drive high, get a DUI, paid for by the NHTSA. This time of year, guys, make sure you get home. You know, this is the holidays, and that means make sure that you have a designated driver. There's Ubers out there. There's no excuse. There's Lyft out there. There's no excuse to get yourself in trouble and to be out here driving, potentially killing yourself and somebody else, changing everyone's lives forever. So do the right thing, guys. Don't drive high. But yeah, big game tonight. Tip-off's at 8:30. Looks like we're about 30 minutes out. Make sure you get to your local ESPN. I believe it's going to be on ESPN or the ACC network. Big game for UVA. This is what we want to see. We want to see how do they bounce back. Okay, if this team can bounce back the way that I think that they can bounce back, I want to see it tonight. I want to see it today. And they're on the road. Then the following week they play the Albany Retrievers, I think, another Division II school. So they'll get an opportunity to play a team that they should beat, but then it ramps right back up. They get into ACC play right at the new year, end of this year, going into the new year, the 31st. I believe they play Georgia Tech in Atlanta. So this game is very important. Remember, beginning of this month, I said there's a 5-game stretch, and the Michigans and the oh man, I'm losing it. The Michigan, Miami, Houston, JMU. These were the teams I said there was 5 that they had to beat, and if they came out of it with 1 loss, they should be in a really good position going into conference play. So let's make sure we support them. Let's watch them. We'll be doing a halftime show for 7 City Shop Talk Sports, so you guys can catch me online for that during halftime, and then you'll also catch a Locked On Sports Now, which is a quick post-game rapid reaction show. You'll catch me on that as well. So make sure you guys tune in to all of our Locked On brands to catch that, because that's going to be you get it raw, you get it first, and you kind of get an idea of kind of where we are. Those things are always interesting when you start doing those rapid reaction now shows. But I can tell you, this is going to be an interesting game. I really want to see where Reese Beekman is, how healthy he is. I want to see how this whole team bounces back. Not to mention the freshman, Isaac McNeely, who is stealing minutes from Ahmad Franklin. And I know why. His defense is not bad. It may be as good as Ahmad's right now. And then his shot has been better lately than Armand's shot. Because remember, Armand's supposed to come in and be the shooter. They brought him in to knock down open shots. He was at the beginning of the year. He has really slowed down. So let's see how these freshmen check out. Then of course the other star sensational freshman, Ryan Dunn, athletic wing player, defender, who I think can change some things for this team with his versatility and who he can guard based off of his size. He can guard a wing player all the way down to the big man, a power forward, kind of a slashing player that I think he can guard as well. So let's see where we are, guys. I will see you guys at the end of the game for now, but make sure you tune in to me for the halftime show on my 7 Cities brand. We'll see you guys out there. This has been Big Law at Locked On Virginia. It's really exciting. Holidays are here. Can't wait, guys. I'll see you in a little bit. Have a great evening.